What is up, everybody? Welcome in to the Wide Eye Weekly Podcast. You got Spoon and Riley, as always. You got your boy Bryn hosting on the mic. We are through week 7, almost on to week 8. We're almost halfway through the NFL season. And real quick, before we get started, like, subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Just go ahead and do that right now. Okay, thank you very much for doing that. All right, so let's get underway with things here. Guys. We're almost halfway through with the NFL season. How crazy is that? We got one more week and then we're halfway done.
It's flown by.
That's wild. That is wild. Well, technically 2 more weeks because I guess not 17 weeks. The 8 is the halfway point, so we got to get through 8. But let's just jump right into things. If you don't know, if you haven't watched the show before, what we do every week is we go through a biggest winner and a biggest loser each from the prior week. I'll start us off with biggest winner, if that's okay. Anybody got any objections? All right. So my biggest winner this week is Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator. He put up 30 points on probably the best defensive coordinator so far this season in Brian Flores. He has Jared Goff playing at an MVP level, something Sean McVay couldn't do. Something Sean McVay could not do. Jared Goff never looked this good with Sean McVay. They had Todd Gurley, who ran the ball and carried the offense. Jared Goff definitely has a good run game, but he is carrying this offense right now. And point blunt about it, he's the best play caller in the NFL. No question about it. Ben Johnson is absolutely rolling. He should have had a head coaching job and turned it down because he wanted $12 million and people were only willing to give him $9 million. So he goes back to Detroit, and Detroit is ungodly lucky for it. They appear to be the best offense in the NFL other than Baltimore right now, who I think Lamar is the other MVP candidate. But Ben Johnson has his offense humming right now. Riley, Spoon, who wants to go?
I'll go. So I've got a duo the first time in my history, and that is Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry.
All right.
Combined, they went for 515 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 3 plays of 40 yards or more.
That's
I think
wild.
I think they've been putting up crazy work on the ground, in the air, and if that defense can tighten up, Baltimore is a real contender. But their defense has been lackluster up until this point.
Yep. Spoon?
So mine's going to take a minute because I couldn't pick one. Okay, man, I'm sorry, but it is like a group. It is a thing. Also, I want to give a shout out, Marcus Mariota. You did exactly what you needed to do to win the game. You didn't turn the ball over. You actually had a very good completion rate. Hopefully that carries over next week and you actually put up a good game against the Bears. I don't want it to be a blowout. I don't care who wins. I want to see a good game. That's all I want, Riley. I just want to see a really good game.
I don't think that's going to happen.
But my MVP goes to running backs.
And
all of them.
No. I'm gonna give shout outs to them because I couldn't pick one, but I got to give some love to them because I did have a parlay that I set up this weekend. I had a bunch of running backs score touchdowns. They all scored, and I'm just gonna give some love. One of them that I didn't have though, and I'm giving him a shout out anyway. Javonte Williams, 88 yards, 2 TDs, pretty damn good. 6.3 yards per carry. I'm giving some love to Tank Bigsby, 118 yards on the ground, 2 TDs. Giving some love to my main one, Jahmyr Gibbs. Sorry, Riley or Brenner. 116 yards, 7.7 yards average, 2 TDs. Hey, I know, man. Sorry. Obviously, Riley said one of them, a big one. Derrick Henry, 169 yards. Giving some love to Najee Harris, 102 yards and a TD. And then I can't forget about Kareem Hunt, who had 2 TDs on the ground, 78 yards. I mean, it was just a huge week for running backs. Good job. Joe Mixon, 115 yards on the ground, 2 TDs. Just throwing them all out there. I think y'all all deserve some love. Y'all are my MVPs this week. Thank you.
All right. Well, Riley, you want to go first with your biggest loser?
Yeah. So my biggest loser is San Francisco.
All right. Well, that makes mine easy because I had 2 and they were one of them.
They lose 28-18 to the Chiefs. They're now 0-5 against the Chiefs in the Kyle Shanahan era. They fall to third in their own division. They're now 1-3 in the conference. If they're looking towards playoff seeding, it's an uphill battle. Mahomes played bad, I thought, and they still got rolled. They lost Ayuk, and Purdy throws 3 picks. I mean, it was just a rough week for the Niners. And the good thing about Lowe's is you can only go up from here. So, in theory, anyways.
Yeah, they got Christian McCaffrey out, Debo's illness, Brandon Ayuk out for the year, Kittle with a foot, Jennings out, Purdy the pumpkin. I mean, he just full pumpkin after not having all-pro weapons, which I said this in a group chat this week. If you expected anything else to happen, you were just dick riding. Like he was a 7th round pick, dude. Like, of course any quarterback is going to play good whenever they have 4 all-pros and an elite play caller. Like, that's going to happen. Either way, my biggest loser this week is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lost your division lead, lost your number 1 receiver for, I'm going to say 4 to 6 weeks. They're claiming only 3, including the buys. So there's 4, but I'm going to say up to 6 weeks because hamstrings are like groin injuries. They tend to linger. Lost your number 2 wide receiver for the whole year. He's done. Your defense didn't look good. Everything's heading south for you, right? Just because you were on such a high, like the Tampa Bay Bucs fans were on such a high. I mean, everything's going right. Baker's balling. Evans is playing elite still. Godwin's playing elite. The running back duo is there, and then crash and burn. Just rough. Just rough in Tampa Bay. I feel for you, Tampa Bay. Spoon, who you got?
So it was kind of tough to find a loser for me, and it's because most of the games that happened, I mean, the winner won that I thought was going to win. Yeah. So it was kind of difficult, but I think the big one would probably go to the Atlanta Falcons. They didn't, that offense didn't look very great. Kirk Cousins throwing 2 interceptions obviously doesn't help.
Yeah, in the middle of Kirktober, like what the
yeah.
Dude, get your shit together. It's literally Kirktober. Get your shit together.
I mean, to lose by 20 at home
to the Hawks, who are a West Coast team traveling east, that's like it's an early start for them. Their body clocks ain't ready for that. Like they should. I mean, Atlanta just looked bad in general, but yeah, during Kirktober, dude, not a good look.
Not a good look. So that was it. Was my other one was the Jets, but y'all already tore them up last week. So
yeah, the Jets are on a rough one. we told you Devontae Adams wasn't the problem, or wasn't going to be the fix. Aaron's the problem right now. He's not who he was. If you want to see more on that, we have a Friday film room you can check out. It's on our page. Head over there and check out our film breakdown on Aaron Rodgers. He's not like completely washed, but he's definitely part of the problem.
Before I say
while we're talking about the Jets, I want to get your guys' thoughts. I think they're 1 loss away from being top 5 draft pick consideration next year. What do you guys think?
I mean, I feel like they're in consideration for that already. I expect his offense to get better, but firing the mastermind that constructed top 5 defenses year after year was the dumbest thing they could have done, only to then trade and try to save the season with an interim head. Like, the whole thing is just terrible. Like, the Jets are just terrible.
I mean, I was 3 of their next 4 games, just to add on to that, are against some weaker opponents. They play New England, they play Arizona, they play Indianapolis. So they could definitely turn this around and maybe become 5. I don't see them beating Houston. I'm just putting that out there. That's one of their next 4 games. So if they do win the other 3, go 5-6, their schedule doesn't look that awful. I mean,
I'm gonna say if they can't go 3-1 over the next 4 games, they'll have a top 5 pick next year.
Yeah, if they don't win the 3 games that they should win,
yeah,
I would say so.
Like if you're not beating the Patriots as the team that you are constructed as, then
I understand that the Steelers are a way better defense than the Titans, but I just want to point out that Amari Cooper came out and scored a touchdown his first game. Like Devontae Adams could have done a little better. I feel like, especially with it being a Sunday night game, you have a little bit of extra time to go over some stuff with him.
I guess, but yeah, it's a bad situation for the Jets. We're gonna move on. We won't harp on them too much. We don't need to stack onto Jets fans. They're the Jets. They know. Are you guys ready to be held accountable?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that bad, right?
It's really bad, actually. It's the worst we've done yet. So every week throughout the offseason, we would go through and we would predict 1 to 2 weeks of the NFL schedule for the season. This one we predicted this week back June 25th. So that shows you how far back we're going here. And it was not good. Every week we've either been positive or 500 up until now. And keyword being up until now. So let me pull that up on the screen. There we go. We went 7-8. This is not good. No bueno. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 6, 7, 8. Not a good look at all. This was rough. Very, very rough. You got New Orleans and Denver. New Orleans takes the L there. Now, granted, we thought New Orleans would be a little better than this. We thought the Broncos would be way worse.
We went 8-7.
8-7. 1, 2, 3,
look at the very
4,
last
5,
game.
6, 7. Oh,
Arizona won.
Oh, they did. What am I talking about?
Arizona beat the Chargers.
Thank you.
So it wasn't a total.
Wasn't a total. Thank you. I was like, what are you talking about? So we can real time update this.
We had a bunch of ties that went to the home team, and the home team lost.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is super weird. I wouldn't say it's abnormal, but certainly wouldn't say it's normal.
Cleveland, Minnesota, San Fran.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's not as bad as it could have been. It's still 500. I want to be back into double-digit wins so bad I can't see straight. This is really bugging me that we've been unable to get back to double digits since week 1. We've been either one game over or at 500, and I hate that. But injuries, different things happen. Like at the beginning of the season, who would have thought that San Francisco would be as beat up as they are? Miami would be as beat up as they are.
True.
Cleveland would be this disastrous. Cleveland.
I thought they were going to be a sub 500 team.
I thought they were going to be a 500 to 10-win football team, but they're looking at being like a 3-win football team right now. Like they look terrible. So who knows? But Atlanta losing that game to the Hawks, they were favorites from June all the way up until now. Like they were, like everybody thought the Falcons would win that game. So this is our accountability. So that would be, we can do some quick math here. Let me do some division here real quick. 45 divided by 62. That's 72% on the season. 72% on the season. So there you go. We're 72% on the season so far. 62 and 45. We're a C-. We're not yet into D territory, so thank God, because that would have been brutal. Next up, we're going to move on to week 8. Does anybody have anything they want to say regarding week 7 before we move on to week 8?
Nope.
Alrighty.
Let's have a better week next week.
Pull this off the screen for just a second. I'm going to get posted up here the week 8 odds and for the teams. Pull it back up for you. Alrighty. So first off, I will be front row in the end zone of this game. This Thursday night, the Vikings travel to LA. I will be traveling to LA to rep for the Vikings. Every week, we predict the spreads. We go over every team, go through the spreads, who we think's going to win, who we think's going to lose, all that good stuff. I'm going to close out some of these real quick, just because those are bugging me. All right. First game, Vikings at Rams. Cooper Kupp might play. TJ Hawkinson might play. The Vikings have to activate Hawkinson before the end of Friday, so before 3 p.m. on Friday. I I lean Minnesota here in a 2-star. It is a road game. We did just play a really tough game against Detroit, so I'm not saying we're going to go in there and blow the Rams out, but their defense is really bad. I think this is a great chance for the Vikings to just block out the Detroit game, block out the loss, move on, and get a dub.
I like what you're saying. I'll go Vikings in a 3-star. I think they're a better team. I think they'll be hungry after a rough loss to Detroit. Yeah, I'll take Minnesota.
Spoon?
I'm looking at something right now. I'm just kind of curious. Because we remember what we said about San Francisco last year?
Yeah, there's it's the covering the spread. It's like 26-7.
No, it's not really that, but so far I'm at week 5, and it's come true that every team that plays Detroit loses the next week.
Make it happen.
So hold on, I'm still going. I'm sorry. My original plan was I was going to go Vikings -3 and a 3-star. I think the Rams do not have a very good defense, and I think they're a little too banged up to really compete here. They do have the home field advantage. I get that, but Vikings -3 just feels kind of free to me.
I do want to say that I have seen a lot of speculation of the Vikings trading for Matthew Stafford, and I do not think that's going to happen. I have one, we don't have a lot of draft capital. 2, it just doesn't make sense. And 3, Kevin O'Connell's system, it is similar to Sean McVay's, but it is so intensely deep that he is not after. You saw what happened with the Josh Dobbs and Nick Mullins last year. Everybody getting everybody in midway through this. It just was disastrous. Like, it was terrible. And I think they learned that that's not the way to go about things. And as good as Matthew Stafford can be, I don't think there's a realistic shot that we trade for him. So
I finished my research, and it is right. Every team that has played Detroit has lost the next week because it's happened 5-6 times because the Cowboys had a bye week after losing to them, so that doesn't count. And then Detroit also had one bye week this year. So
okay,
so far.
Well, we'll see if the Vikings can break the curse. Hopefully they do. I'll be there. Arizona at Miami. Miami Dolphins -3. Tua potentially coming back, and I like the Dolphins offense against the Cardinals defense. I also like the Cardinals offense against the Dolphins defense. I'm going to take Miami in a 2-star at -3.
If Tua is back,
yes. Tua is supposed to be back.
So he is supposed to be back?
As of right now, yes. Let's assume he's back.
I'll do Miami in a 3-star.
Okay, and Spoon? Oh, sorry, Riley.
What were you saying, Riley?
Oh, yeah. I think Tua will come back and not necessarily have a whole lot of rust to knock off. He might be a little shaky with the stuff going on with his head, but I don't think there's going to be a 150-yard passing game from him his first game back.
No.
Spoon?
I mean, yeah, it all comes down to Tua, like you guys said. If he plays, and if he doesn't,
let's assume he's playing. We're just assuming he's playing.
Well, I was gonna say he does play 2-star. He doesn't play Arizona in a 4-star.
Okay, all right.
And I love that over. I really like that over.
Yeah, I like that over too. If Tua plays, this is a 5-star over.
Yeah, 100%.
You guys want to hear the craziest stat ever?
What's that?
So last night for Monday Night Football, there was a stat saying. If they were less than a 4 point, if the favorite is less than a favorite or less than a 4-point favorite at home on Monday Night Football and the wind is more than 12 miles an hour, the over is 12-1. And it hit last night.
These stats?
Dude, Instagram's crazy. I thought that was fake. I'm like, that's not real. I'm like, wow, that's hit a couple. I bet on it last night and it hit.
Cool.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's 72 points. They easily hit that over.
That's wild. But what are the odds that? Yeah, super weird. But anyways, Chicago Bears and Washington Commanders. I am hammering the Bears at 2.5 here. 5 stars. Dane Daniels will not play, barring a miracle. If he does play, I'm taking Commanders 5 stars. But I mean, it would take a miracle for Jaden Daniels to play in this game, and the Bears are going to absolutely shit on the Commanders if he doesn't.
I would hammer the Bears either way. We beat them last year. I know Jaden Daniels is on fire, but I don't think he's gone up against the defense like the Bears. Justin Fields went for like 4 touchdowns on him last year, so if the maths, Caleb Williams will have 8.
The math isn't going to math. I'm warning you. Spoon?
Yeah, it's also, I mean, if Jaden Daniels plays or not, obviously I'm assuming he's not, and it's Mariota. I would love to see a close game. I don't think it's going to be that close, though, because the Bears have a really good defense, and I'm gonna hit the Bears in a 3-star.
All right, Bears in a 3-star. All right, Jets at Patriots this weekend. The Jets are a 7-point favorite in New England. I'm actually going to 2-star the Jets here. Gerard Mayo made the ultimate football sin. The ultimate football sin this past week. Do you guys know what that was?
No.
Was he? No, I'm thinking of Antonio Pierce. Never mind.
He called his team soft. Okay. You go out there and you put your body on the line for the past, let's see, training camp started at the end of July, so August, almost 3 months. You're just grinding away every day for these people, and he has the audacity after he calls a terrible game to come out and be like, it's their fault. They're soft. Like, he loses the locker room after this. I would be surprised if the Patriots even show up to play on Sunday. Like, Jesus, dude. I'll give you a little story. The Vikings 2016 5-0. We lose to the Philadelphia Eagles coming out of a bye week and are down to 5-1. Mike Zimmer goes out, calls the team soft. We finished 8-8. Like, you don't call your team soft. It ruins the morale. I think this is really bad news for the Patriots, especially considering that Bill Belichick then came out and was like, well, this is the team that was second in run defense last year. Like, same dudes, they're not soft. Like, they're going to feel entitled, and I feel like Gerard Mayo lost the locker room. I'm gonna take the Jets -7 here. 2 stars.
I'll take the Patriots in a 2-star. Going back to what you were saying, I mean, yes, they're the same guys. They're the same guys that got Belichick pushed out of the building. If you want to prove you're not soft, quit being one of the worst teams in the league. I mean,
to be fair,
if your play backs you being soft and you get called soft and you continue to play soft, the only answer is you're soft.
To be fair, the Jags would have beaten any team in the NFL last week. Any team. Jags would have beaten them. No question. I don't know if you guys if you guys don't know this, the Jags played back-to-back weeks in London, and I am a firm believer that creates the most unfair advantage imaginable. The past 2 years, the second I found out that the Jags were playing back-to-back weeks, I immediately set a reminder to bet on the Jacksonville Jaguars the second week they were in London, no matter what, and it hit both years. They beat the Bills last year, and they beat the Patriots this year.
You told me that last year, and I hammered the Jags last year, and then I hammered the Jags this year.
Dude, it's a proven fact that teams that travel on Tuesday versus Friday to go to London, the Tuesday team wins at like an 80% clip, because it's just being over there and adjusting for even a small amount of time is a huge advantage. Now give that team a full extra week plus, like a week plus Monday, a week plus Monday, Thursday, Friday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like, that is a huge advantage. Like, it doesn't seem like it, but your body takes at least a week to adjust over there. Like, you're on a whole different schedule. You're eating at different times. Like, I'd just go and just start skipping breakfast and lunch and don't eat till 3 p.m. every day, and then eat dinner or eat lunch at 6 and then eat dinner at 11 o'clock every day, and tell me you don't feel different. Like, it just throws your body completely off. You're staying up till 4 a.m. every day. Like, it's just, everything is wacky. So it's rough when you travel to London and you're playing a team who's been there for, 8-9 days already. You're at too much of a disadvantage to win the game. It's just the NFL should stop doing that. They should stop making teams have back-to-back weeks. It's too big of an advantage. All right. Next up.
I didn't get.
Oh, you
I
didn't?
Get
Shit.
to pick.
Sorry.
Nice, Brenner.
Yeah. Who cares?
All right. So the Patriots have lost 6 in a row. I'm going to base this off the last 5, though. If you look at the last 5 losses they have lost by 16 points or more in 4 of those. The only team that they covered a 7-point spread would have been Miami, and they lost by 5 to a very weak Miami team. I am hammering the Jets -7, and I'm going to 4-star it.
All right. For those of you who don't know, I just got breaking news. The New Orleans Saints lock up Alvin Kamara on a 2-year extension worth about $12.5 million a year. Probably locking him up for the rest of his career. He'll be a Saint for the rest of his career, more than likely. And we have the Green Bay Packers at Jacksonville Jaguars. This is going to sound crazy. I feel like this is a trap game for the Packers. I'm going to take Jacksonville plus 4.5. I don't know if they'll necessarily win the game. And I'm not saying they will win. It's that big of a trap game. But I feel like coming off a really tough game against Houston, you're going down to Jacksonville. The weather's nice. You're playing the Jaguars. Like, why do we need to take this seriously? I'm going to take this as a vacation. And they're going to show up soft in the first half. They might get their shit together and win the game. But I'm going to say it's by 3 points or less. So I'm going to take Jacksonville plus 4.5, 3-star.
I will take Green Bay in a 3-star. I've said it on the podcast before, but in my mind, you are what you are until you prove to me that you are not. And right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars are a bad team. We have Green Bay in our top 5. And I think a 4.5 point spread is criminal.
Vegas knows something. I wonder what it is.
Maybe.
So Jacksonville has not shown me anything that really just stands out. Green Bay has. I'm not going to take the Jaguars plus 4.5. I'm going to take Green Bay, but I'm only going to 2-star it just because I do think Green Bay easily wins this game, but Jacksonville might score like a garbage time touchdown and they end up losing by 3 or 4.
Okay. I don't hate it. I'm not mad at it. Not mad at it at all. All right, here we go. Atlanta at Tampa Bay. I'm going to hammer the Falcons at -2.5. And I'm going to take the under, too, because I don't know. I don't think the Falcons are good enough to put up 35 points in this game. And I don't know if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be able to score 10 with no wide receivers on the field. I mean, McMillan is their number one. What's his first name? It's Jalen McMillan is their number one receiver right now. And they have Cade Otton, who's a pretty good tight end, but he's a pretty good tight end when you have one Hall of Famer and one Pro Bowl level wide receiver out on the field helping. So I don't know. They're going to start stacking the box, playing 2 high safeties, cutting off the tight end. Those receivers are going to have to step up in a special way. I like Atlanta 4 stars here, -2.5. Riley?
Man, this is a tough one for me.
Even with the receivers out?
Even with the receivers out. I just got a feel. And it's so close. You would think that with the receivers being out, the spread would be bigger, but it's 2.5 points with Tampa being at home.
I think they're counting on people like you who just didn't watch the Monday Night Football game and are like, yeah, Tampa Bay's got this.
They lost to 10 points by the 3rd best team in the league by our calculations. And Atlanta just got blown out by a borderline 12. Give me Tampa Bay in a 2-star.
Spoon?
I don't love this. You have a great point, though, with McMillan being the number 1 wide receiver. And then obviously Trey Palmer is the number 2. Nothing screams that they're going to do anything great, in my opinion. Obviously, you kind of saw what the Bucs did do a little bit. They had a lot of dump downs to Rachaad White. I do see them switching up their game scheme just a little bit and possibly doing more with both their. I mean, they have a running back duo that's not terrible. I see them doing something a little bit more with them. With that being said, I don't love this game at all. It's kind of a toss-up. Atlanta did not look good last week. Tampa Bay looked like they could move the ball a little bit with Mike Evans being out, but it still wasn't tremendous. It was kind of just garbage time touchdowns. I'm leaning Atlanta -2.5, but dude, if I could 0-star this, I would. I don't love it.
Fair enough. All right. You got Ravens at Cleveland. That's a lot of points. Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's a lot of points. 9.5 points. I mean, 9.5 points in any NFL game is a lot. I'm still going to take the Ravens 3-star. Ravens offense has proven to be elite. The Browns defense has proven to be not. And I don't know how actually, you know what? It's a first game for a backup quarterback here. This could be closer than we think. I'm going to take Cleveland in a 0-star.
I am going to take Cleveland in a 1-star, but I love this over. I think Baltimore can get to 30 points on Cleveland's defense, and as bad as Baltimore's defense is, I could see Cleveland get to 25.
I like it. Spoon?
So I think the Ravens are looking at this game as not really like if it was the Steelers or the Bengals, they would definitely be looking at it as a tough division game. But I think this is kind of a look ahead game for them. I'm pretty sure they're going to just go into Cleveland and expect to win. It's a lot of points, and that's why I lean Cleveland here. I also want to point out that if Jameis Winston is the starting quarterback, I would much rather him be throwing the ball instead of who's their other backup that came in and played.
DTR.
Yeah, DTR. Not a big fan of him. I would love to see Jameis Winston go out there and sling the ball. And if you do see that over is, I promise you, it'll hit.
And take Jameis Winston to throw over 1 interception on FanDuel because that'll hit too. All right, so next up we have Colts at Texans. Colts -5.5 points. I like this line coming off a tough loss to Green Bay. Good team. Indy, not a good team. I'm going to take Houston -5.5, 4 stars.
Yeah, I'll take Houston at 5.5. 4 stars.
Spoon?
Yeah, I'm taking Houston -5.5. I'm going to 3-star just because it's a little more points. But Anthony Richardson, I thought he was going to have a much better season. He has power, but he doesn't really have the accuracy. It's not there.
Yep, he's working, so he's going to need a Josh Allen type coaching turnaround.
I saw something on Twitter that said Anthony Richardson is the Daniel Jones of Cam Newton's.
That's funny. All right, Titans at Lions. I'm taking the Titans. No, I'm just kidding. I'm taking the Lions here, but -10.5. I'm 3-starring it. That offense is rolling hot. That Tennessee is going to get beat by like 34-14.
Man, that's just a huge spread. I'll take Detroit in a 2-star.
Spoon?
Yeah, it's a lot of points as well. I don't know if Detroit. This is also another look-ahead game, I believe. They know that they're going to go in. They're going to go home and they're going to win this game. But this points is just too much. I'm going to still take the Lions -10.5, but I'm only going to 1-star it.
Look at that money line.
Yeah, -620. That is insane.
So if you don't know how money lines work, the minus sign indicates if you bet this much money, you get $100, and the plus indicates if you bet $100, you get this much money. So you would have to bet $620 to make 100, or betting on the Titans, if you bet 100, you would make 640 or 460 if they won. Now there's a reason these numbers are so different. The Lions are going to win that game. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints at the Los Angeles Chargers. I like the Saints at +7.5. I really do. I don't feel like, and especially with the under being that low, I don't see it being an under game and a blowout. So I think it would be close. So I'm gonna take the Saints and a 2-star +7.5.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a close game too. Give me the Saints and a 2-star. I think that spread's a bit big for a close game. But yeah.
Spoon?
So you have two very weak offenses going against each other here. The edge goes to the Chargers because they do have a much better defense than the Saints do, but I still believe it's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to take the Saints plus 7.5, and I'm going to 1-star that. I don't love it.
All right. Next up, we have the Bills at the Seahawks. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I'm telling you, Bills win this game by 10. Now, I mean, Seattle's rolling. They should get Tariq Woolen back. I mean, they just went into Atlanta and shit on the Falcons. And I mean, I think the Falcons are not as good a team as Buffalo, but I definitely think they're better than you guys are giving them credit for. I think Atlanta's a good football team, and Seattle just proved like we had a sleepy week versus the Giants and got beat at home. We're not that team, and we're gonna show you who we really are. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Seattle loses this game by like 4 points, and I'm gonna take Buffalo in like a 1-star. It's gonna be close. This game will be close.
I'm gonna take Buffalo in a 4-star. I think they win by a touchdown, maybe 2 points. I think it only gets close if Seattle scores in the final 2 minutes or something like that.
And Seattle will most likely be without DK Metcalf, so that is something to keep in mind. They do have 2 other good receivers, but anytime you're losing your number 1 receiver, it hurts.
Yep. Okay, so I think this game's going to be close as well. Brenner knows better than I do, but I'm going to just make the assumption that Seattle fans are not down on the season just yet. They're going to definitely show up and show out. And I'm going to lean to the Bills -3, but I'm only going to 2-star it, and that's only because the Bills wide receiving core just gives it the slight edge for me.
Okay, I like it. All right, next up. Oh, did we go too far? No. Why did we go from a 1 o'clock game to a 10 o'clock game? That's weird.
It's been moving around the whole time.
Oh, that's super weird. I noticed that. All right, Philly at Cincinnati. I like Cincinnati -2.5 here.
Man,
3 stars. 3 stars.
I like Philly in a 2-star, just because between all the offenses and defenses, I think Cincinnati has the worst defense, and I think it's worse than any side of the ball in this game. And for those reasons, give me Philly.
I think Cincinnati could potentially score on every drive this game.
I'm gonna
Philly.
Take the over.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Riley here. I believe the big difference here is Cincinnati's very weak defense. The Eagles have a top 10 offense and defense, in my opinion. So I'm gonna take Philly +2.5, and I'm gonna 3-star that.
Okay. All right, we'll see. We will see. All right, Carolina at Denver. I mean, Denver -8, 2 stars. I mean, Carolina's shown me nothing to bet on them anytime soon, so give it to Denver.
Man, I kind of like Carolina in this line. I think that's a big spread for Denver to cover. I understand Denver's playing over expectations, but I still think they're a 500 team. I could very easily see this getting sort of trap game for Denver. Give me Carolina in a 2-star.
Yeah, the edge goes to Denver's defense here. They're playing tremendous football. I'm going to take Denver -8.5. They'll be able to at least score a few touchdowns on a pretty weak Carolina defense, which we did not expect at all this season.
Nope.
So I'm going to 2-star that, though, because it is still a lot of points.
All right. Chiefs at Raiders. Man, I'm saying divisional game. Weird shit happens. Raiders +9.5. I like it. Giving the Raiders 10 points. I'm going to take Raiders in a 3-star.
Yeah, I'll take Raiders in a 2-star. I mean, Kansas City hasn't been blowing anyone out most of the year. They've been in a lot of close games, and I think this will be another one of them.
Spoon?
Yeah, on the road this year, man, they did just beat the 49ers pretty well, but it is a division game. I'm gonna
The
give the edge.
Niners were missing 4
I
of their
and I
all-pro
would
weapons.
and I would
And
still
3 picks.
and I would still take the Niners over the Raiders to win.
It's wild.
So, but with it being a division game, I'm gonna lean to the Raiders plus 9.5, and I'm gonna 2-star it as well.
Okay. Oop. Keep going up too far. All right, Spoon. Sunday Night Football.
Damn.
Dallas Cowboys at San Francisco 49ers. I'm hammering the Cowboys plus 4.5 here. I think the Cowboys win this game. I don't know how in God's name the Niners are favored right now. I get it. The Cowboys aren't playing special football right now, but the Niners are literally limping into games right now. They're using crutches to get to games right now. Like, it is so bad. Dallas has a talented offense. I feel like this could be a put it together game for Dallas, and I think they win this game. I'm gonna take the 4.5, and I'm just gonna 5-star because I believe they're gonna win.
Man, this is a tough game for me, but seeing what San Francisco did last week, I mean, there's 2 trains of thoughts. You can think they're going to come into Dallas hungry and whoop up on them, but I think there are more problems brewing in San Francisco. I'm going to lean towards Dallas in a 2-star, but I think this is going to be a damn good game.
Yeah, I'm not picking Dallas at all. You have the 7th ranked team when it comes to rushing yards per game in San Francisco, going against the 27th ranked team when it comes to rushing yards allowed with the Dallas Cowboys defense. You can put just about anybody in that backfield for San Francisco, and they're going to run the ball all over Dallas. So I'm going to hammer the San Francisco 49ers minus 4.5, and I'm going to probably 4-star that.
I'm telling you, Dallas is going to win that game. I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
We're going to win.
All right.
If they do win, I would be so shocked. But no, I haven't seen anything from the Cowboys this year.
All right, I'm taking the Steelers plus or minus 5.5. The Giants are a bad football team and a bad offense, especially. Malik Neighbors will have 12 catches for 75 yards, and the Steelers will win 28-17. I'm taking the Steelers.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Steelers in a 3-star, but I also really like this over. It's just so low. I feel like it's screaming for you to take it.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is it's screaming, "Take me, take me!" It's like, It's like it's the angler fish when you're in the ocean. It's the light. You're like, "Oh, a light in the darkness. I should grab it." Nope, lost your hand. You suck.
I could see Pittsburgh putting up 30 and the Giants getting a garbage time touchdown.
I mean, maybe we'll see. Spoon, where are you going?
So I'm seeing this line at 5.5, and I'm also seeing it at 6.5. I would hurry up to the people watching and hammer the Steelers minus 5.5 or minus 6.5 before it goes up to over a touchdown. And I would probably 4-star that because, I mean, with Russell Wilson back, the Steelers they already looked much better last game than they already were. So that's where I'm going with it.
Yep, and I think that's it. I think that's everybody. Yep, that's the whole rigmarole. That's the whole rigmarole. So that's every spread for week 8. Oh, I really hope the Vikings win this game on Thursday night, guys. I'm so pumped. Just to. I mean, is there a more fun place than at an NFL game like that? It's just my favorite place to be.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but if you're at a top college football game like Michigan, Ohio State, Texas, Oklahoma, there's not really much that beats those.
See, the problem for me with that is 80% of the crowd is casuals. They're just there to get drunk. They don't actually care about the team. Like the next day, like it's just a bunch of casuals.
80% of the fan isn't going to remember the fourth quarter.
Yeah, like it's just a bunch of casuals yelling whenever somebody else. Oh, they're yelling. I should yell too. Ha! Like
I don't know, man. Whenever you're spending $400 or $500, I've been seeing these college football game tickets go that high. When you're spending that much for a game,
but if you're a student or alumni, you don't have to.
Yeah, I mean but you're going to see casuals at a lot of games. Like it's just that's how I see so many casual fans at Cowboys games too. Like, it's
I mean, there's no free tickets to
Cowboys.
NFL games, so there's no true casuals there. You got to pay a few $100s just to get in the upper decks. These
yeah,
days,
but
you know?
a lot of these games, like you can get into like a Jaguars game
Oh,
for
there you
like, oh, did you? I was gonna say a lot of these games though, like if your team's 500 or below, you could get into a lot of them for like $50 to $100 if you're sitting top row.
I mean, maybe in Jacksonville, not anywhere I'm going. I'll tell you that much. All right. Anyway,
And you also have standing room only in a lot of these stadiums now, which gets a lot of casuals just going to the game and spending $50 on a ticket.
Fun fact. You guys want to hear a fun fact about the Detroit Lions? So before Dan Campbell got in there and turned this team around, they started doing good, right?
Right.
The Detroit Lions had only ever sold out their Ford Field twice, and it was for 2 random ass Vikings games. And I have no clue why the Lions fans hate us so much, but the Lions fans hate us like we hate Green Bay. Like me and Riley hate Green Bay. The Lions fans hate Vikings fans that way. And I think they want there to be that rivalry that like Chicago and Green Bay have, but I just don't feel that with them. Like I don't like them.
No, I feel that exact same way. I think of all the rivalries in the NFC North, the Detroit Lions are kind of the odd man out.
They're the redheaded stepchild.
They're not exactly a storied franchise, other than being horrifically bad.
They are quite literally the worst franchise in NFL history. Take that to the bank.
Hey man, the Browns are making a run for that. Okay.
Yeah, the Browns have like I think the Browns have like
it's
4
neck and neck
playoff wins. The Lions have 2. Okay.
Hey, the Lions are gonna get a playoff win this year. I promise that. But I'm just gonna point out from an outsider looking in, I feel like out of all the teams in the NFC North, every team should just hate the Packers. Like I don't.
We all hate the Packers.
I know.
Yeah,
we all hate the Packers.
I feel no. I just feel like when I look at like the Lions Vikings rivalry, it's similar to the Vikings Bears rivalry or the Bears
Vikings
Lions
Bears
rivalry.
A little more of a rivalry.
Maybe it's just because of you and me, but I hate the Vikings.
But like, it's probably just because of you two. But like those 3 teams, besides the Packers, like they all have like a similar rivalry. It's all like division. But I feel like whenever the Bears play the Packers, huge rivalry. Lions, Packers, big rivalry. Vikings, Packers is probably a bigger one from the outside looking in, but it's right up there with Bears and Packers as well.
The Bears-Packers one is longer, so it gets the pub, but Vikings and Packers have been the 2 most dominant in the division, so that's kind of where that comes from.
Yeah.
Dude, I cannot explain this enough. Like, having gone to Lambeau now, I feel a little more vindicated in saying this because everybody would be like, dude, when you go to Lambeau, you don't understand until you go there. The history you feel in that building, that is a glorified college stadium. I felt no
yeah, I know you hate
magical awe or feel like I was like, oh, cool. Like games have been played here. And they're like, but it's NFL history. No, it's Packer history. And yes, Packer history is part of the NFL, but it's not like some grander thing that you're like, oh, NFL stuff. No, it's Packer stuff alone. And that means nothing to me.
It's the owner's explanation for not ditching out the money on a new stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, historic. How are we supposed to play anywhere else?
And it
really teams are putting up multi-billion-dollar stadiums across. They're playing in a high school stadium.
The Packers fans get me the most though because of they're the fake nice. They're like you're a Vikings fan. Eh? Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, ooh, a Vikes fan. Yeah, ooh.
I know.
Sorry.
Exactly
and the whole time in their head,
about.
They're like, "You fucking piece of shit. You're beneath me. You are not fit to lick my fucking boot." I hate it. I absolutely
to backtrack what I said though a little bit.
Yeah.
That division though is awesome to watch when it comes to rivalries. Like I'd rather watch a game between the NFC North than any rivalry game in the NFC South. I was also going to just point out real quick, NFC North, AFC North, NFC East. I think those are the 3 top divisions when it comes to rivalries, hands down. So,
I will say this fun fact: the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have as many NFC North titles as the Detroit Lions. Yeah. How's that feel, Detroit? That feel good? Good. That's how I felt this weekend. All right. moving on here, we're gonna wrap up the show. I got one thing I want to talk about with you guys. There was some news released today. I talked a little bit about it on the top 10 episode about the potential for Cooper Kupp to get traded. Just give me a team that everybody would like to see Cooper Kupp land on. Riley, you want to go first? You want Spoon to go first? You want me to go first?
I mean, there's a few that. Go ahead.
No, Spoon, if you've got one, go, because I'm.
Well, I was going to say there's a few that come to mind, and obviously it's going to be teams that are like right there that are just looking for a little edge this year because Cooper Kupp is aging a little bit. He is very injury prone. They're not going to spend a whole lot of money on him, but I think the Commanders would be a great fit for him right off the top of my head. I think putting him and Scary Terry on the same team, because really there's not another wide receiver that stands out on Washington, but if you line them up on the opposite sides, you got two weapons for Jaden Daniels to throw the ball to. The Commanders is probably number one on my list. Steelers would be a great one too. Just put him on the other side of George Pickens. You'd have a great wide receiver duo for Russell Wilson. The Cowboys would desperately use a wide receiver, but Jerry Jones is not going to do anything because that's what Jerry
just
Jones
wouldn't fit the
does.
scheme right, man.
It wouldn't. Because the thing is well, I kind of get that because we already have.
I'm just saying what Jerry would say.
Yeah, that's what Jerry would say. Because that's what he said about Derrick Henry, which if y'all want to talk about that, we can after this. But let's go ahead and with Cooper Kupp, he's not going to go to the Cowboys just because we already have.
All right, give us one team. Give us one team.
Well, I gave you two.
But if you had to pick one, who are you picking?
Oh, I'm definitely taking the Commanders. 100% sure.
Riley, who you going with?
I kind of like him to the Giants. Give a mentor for Malik Neighbors. Give another weapon for Daniel Jones. And whenever and this is with the intention they draft a rookie quarterback. You bring the rookie quarterback in. Now you have Malik Neighbors and Cooper Kupp while he develops, kind of as a transitional piece while the Giants try and rebuild for the fifth time.
Yep. I mean, I have two, and I haven't decided which one I'm picking yet, but we'll talk it out here. My two are the Green Bay Packers and the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Baltimore Ravens adding Cooper Kupp and giving Jackson a legitimate receiving threat of like, we have to cover this guy every play. And then the Green Bay Packers is a pure scheme thing, right? Like Matt LaFleur comes from the McVay system. He would just fit right in. He would know the style of play. He would know the scheme well. He'd be able to step in right away and perform at a high level. I think if you gave Cooper Kupp the option, I think he would go to Green Bay. But I would want to see him in Baltimore just because I would want to see what Lamar can do with a true number one bona fide stud wide receiver. So I'm going to go Baltimore. But
I did. Baltimore was in my top 5 teams. There's another team that I didn't even think of, but I was going to let you guys keep going if y'all have anyone.
I'm good.
So a team where Cooper Kupp wouldn't really have to move away from, like he would have to move the area from, would be the LA Chargers. It would be a very easy move for him during the season. The Chargers, though, they don't look like a playoff team. That's what kind of brings it down for me. But the Chargers could definitely use a little bit of offensive help. And they are sitting at 500 right now. They're 3-3. I think if you add Cooper Kupp to the mix, they could have definitely beat Arizona last night.
Yep.
So that would kind of be interesting as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna settle on Baltimore though. That's my final answer.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, we could talk before we hop off here. I mean, Jerry Jones, if you didn't see it, said that they didn't go after Derrick Henry because he wouldn't fit. No. What he said was he was asked about Derrick Henry. He was saying Derrick Henry's having a career year. I don't know if he would be having a career year if he was here because he's not a scheme fit. And so, while I don't necessarily disagree with that statement, it would still be much better than what you have.
He would, even if he wasn't having a career year in Dallas, he would still have more rushing yards than both of our running backs right now combined.
I mean, Derrick Henry's really leading in every rushing category: yards per carry, yards per game, yards total, touchdowns total, rushing yard, like everything runners do. Derrick Henry's leading right now.
When you have Derrick Henry in your backfield, teams have to scheme to that. They have to get their defense ready to face that, and that opens up the game so much more for Dak. You see what's going on right now. Dak can't open up the game passing the ball because we don't have a running back that can help him out.
I mean,
all.
you saw it already. You saw what he did in 2016, 2017, 2018 with Zeke Elliott leading the league in rushing yards behind an amazing O-line. You saw what he was capable of doing. And I think, personally, Dak prefers to play out of the shotgun, prefers to not have to play under center, and he doesn't want to play like he did then. Like, he doesn't like that style of offense. And so, personally speaking, I think that he had a lot to do with not bringing in Derrick Henry because he doesn't want to play that style of football. He wants to have the ball in his hand. He wants to play out of shotgun. He wants to be reading progressions. He doesn't want to run play action a lot, turn his back to the defense and have to make quick reads. He doesn't want to do that. And while I think that's dumb, when you're paying a guy $60 million a year, you tend to listen to what they want. So,
well, I mean, that's probably why I picked running backs as my MVP this week, because it's so frustrating that if you look at we don't have one, first of all. And second of all, if you look at what happened last week, almost every team that did have a running back break 100 yards won the game.
Yeah.
The only one that I see is Joe Mixon against the Texans, but I mean, the Packers are a very good team, so it was a toss-up, came down to the end anyway. But I'm looking over it, and obviously every team that had somebody go off as a running back won. Jahmyr Gibbs, Najee Harris, Kareem Hunt, all of them. Derrick Henry. So it's just, obviously, I think the running back position needs a little more love right now that it's not getting. And the Cowboys they just don't care about running backs at all. Like, you don't have to sign one for a lot of money, but at least get it like a top 10 guy in there. Like, come on.
Tell us how you really feel.
It's frustrating. It's very.
Bradley, you got any thoughts? You got any thoughts you want us to get out there?
No.
Right.
I pretty well agree with everything that's been said.
All right. Well, then that's it for the show. Thanks for sticking around. If you stuck around, we really appreciate it. Give us a like. Give us a sub. I mean, all it takes is a couple seconds. Just click, click, click. I mean, we only post like once or twice a week, so you only have to ignore us like once or twice if you do. So, I mean, thank you, and we'll see y'all next time.